Late last night, Andrew Berry did go out and sign a defensive tackle for this Cleveland Browns defense. The Browns and Dalvin Tomlinson have agreed to a deal. It looks like it is in the range of $14 million per year over 4 years. So a longer contract, which is interesting. We're going to talk about a little bit before I wrap up this quick upload this morning. Let's talk about the stats of Dalvin Tomlinson. Nothing pops off the page. He's a serviceable run defender, maybe even a good run defender. Will he pressure the quarterback? Probably not as much as people are going to want him to. He did have 10 quarterback hits last year, 42 combined tackles, 20 solo tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. Defensive tackles are top heavy in this league. The best ones, get double-digit sacks, and people are like, oh, I wish we had one of those, obviously, but he's had his career high was 3.5 sacks in the season. The production difference between this guy and what we had on the roster last year, though, is going to be the huge talking point for me. He's going to be a guy with a little bit more experience. It's not just going to be, Perrion Winfrey and Jordan Elliott out there. Plus, we also signed that other edge rusher yesterday. We're going to talk about him likely in another upload. So, what we would have spent on Draymond Jones, which I know a lot of people were upset that we didn't go and get Draymond Jones, I think you're going to see us add a third piece to this puzzle instead of just spending it all on Draymond Jones, because the money he got with Seattle was $23.5 million the first year. So this guy's $14 million per more for you, Cleveland, right here. Browns have signed DT Dalvin Tomlinson to a 4-year deal worth $57 million with $27.5 million guaranteed. So this guy's for 4 years, and his contract is only $27.5 guaranteed. Draymond Jones was 3 years, and I think he got more guaranteed, and his first year was $23.5 million. Plus, we got the other edge rusher yesterday. I'm going to have to research how to say his name. And then I think you see us add somebody else, because to me, this is a Schwartz thing. And what do I mean by that? I think Schwartz is basically dictating to Andrew Berry, hey, I want my defensive line to win up front. Could you go and help me out? Because we have guys who were playing as starters last year who you want to be rotational pieces. Alex Wright is back into a rotational piece. That's fine. Like, that's really serviceable now, especially with Myles Garrett, teaching him, being his mentor. Alex Wright was, he's shown flashes last year. He can't play every down. We all know that. Same with Perrion Winfrey. Do you want Perrion Winfrey to start? Maybe if he has a crazy, leap in the offseason and then we go from there. It's not like he's going to be one of the top 10 defensive tackles in the league. So we go and get somebody who has the experience, knows what they're doing, a bigger body, could stop the run primarily. That's the biggest thing with these defensive tackles, with this defensive tackle room. Oh, why can't the Browns stop the run? It's typical. I mean, that's of course the truth. If you watched any amount of games last year, that was 100% the truth, So you go out, you get somebody who can do that. It's interesting that we're now kind of shifting away from the last philosophy of the defensive coordinator to now Jim Schwartz. He wants guys up front. We'll see. Maybe he wants linebackers. I think that the secondary of his defense has pretty much been set in stone ever since we drafted Greg Newsome. Obviously, you get Martin Emerson last year. Sounds like we're going to need a safety. There could be some lower tier names out there that are worth going for, that are a little bit more cost effective. We'll see about that. But as far as what we can pretty much get from Dalvin Tomlinson, the newest Cleveland Brown, let's check out some Twitter tape. This is what I like to call. Let's roll the film here. Circled in orange. Just blows the guy up. Easy tackle. I mean, that just didn't happen last year. Like that, or the last 2 years, or the last 3 years. If he could do that on a semi-consistent basis, blow up a play, be a somewhat of a game wrecker on the interior next to Myles Garrett, not even to mention next to Myles Garrett. We know Myles is going to be there doing his thing, but I mean, that play just is pretty good evidence off the rip. I'm going to have to check out some more tape. We're going to have to see what schemes he fits defensively best in. I would assume that Schwartz believes he could fit in his scheme, or he wouldn't, be on board with this. Or maybe Barry just did the research and say, hey, Jim Schwartz is going to be able to work with this guy, plus some of our lesser names, some of our younger names like Perrion, like some other guys out on the edge with Alex Wright. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if there was not another move made. If you look back on this team's success defensively and on the defensive line, it's always been a tandem of guys. So the best year this defensive line has had, I think, maybe since they returned in 1999, was Myles Garrett, Clowney playing really good, and Tack McKinley as your swing edge. That's fine. Maybe you do with tackles. Maybe you have swing tackles, but I like a three-headed approach. I like the depth approach compared to, okay, Myles is going to be good enough to carry the defense. Hasn't worked. I thought that was an interesting experiment. I thought maybe Andrew Berry was onto something, advanced analytics. I'm a big believer of that. Hasn't worked. So let's take what hasn't worked and let's double back to what has worked in the past, to what helped us win a playoff game, and we go from there. Let me know down below how you feel about this signing from the Browns, Dalvin Tomlinson. Have you heard of him? Was he on your wish list? What do you feel about the contract, $14 million? It's a lot for a defensive tackle. I'm not even going to lie. It's a longer contract, though. You've seen Andrew Berry give one-year deals, prove-it deals, Clowney on one-year deals. So interesting stuff for sure. This offseason is off to a hot start with free agency. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. Bring that bell notification so you don't miss an upload. Don't miss breaking news from the Cleveland Pulse. We appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.